Welcome back to Story of Growth, the podcast where we dive deep into the habits and mindsets that create extraordinary lives. I'm Alex, and today we're talking about something that might make you groan and hit the snooze button just thinking about it: waking up at 4 a.m. But before you skip ahead, hear me out. I've got three incredible guests with me today who've completely transformed their lives by joining what Robin Sharma calls the 4 a.m. Club. We're talking about Maya, a tech entrepreneur who built a seven-figure company; Carlos, an Olympic marathon runner; and Priya, a best-selling author and creative director. Each of them credits their early morning routine as the single most important factor in their success. So grab your coffee, or maybe save it for 4 a.m. tomorrow, and let's discover why the world's most successful people are already crushing their goals while the rest of us are still dreaming. Maya, let's start with you. You're running an AI startup that just raised $15 million in Series A funding. Tell us, what does 4 a.m. look like for you?
Alex, I'll be honest. 3 years ago, if someone told me I'd be voluntarily waking up at 4 a.m., I would have laughed in their face. I was that person hitting snooze 5 times and rushing to my first meeting with coffee stains on my shirt. But here's what changed everything. I was drowning. My startup was in its early stages, I was working 18-hour days, and I felt like I was always reacting to everyone else's agenda. I had zero time for strategic thinking, for innovation, for the big picture stuff that actually moves the needle. So now, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. is sacred. It's my CEO time. No emails, no calls, no interruptions. I start with 20 minutes of meditation, and yes, I was skeptical about that too. Then I spend 90 minutes on high-level strategy work, product vision, market analysis, the kind of deep thinking that gets pushed aside when your day fills up with meetings. The results? In the past 18 months, we've launched 2 breakthrough features that our competitors still haven't figured out. My team constantly asks me, how do you always seem 3 steps ahead? The truth is, I'm not smarter. I just have 2 hours of uninterrupted thinking time while everyone else is sleeping.
That's incredible. And I love how you called it CEO time. Like you're literally scheduling meetings with the most important person in your business, which is yourself. Carlos, your story is fascinating because you discovered the 4 a.m. routine during your lowest point. Tell us about that.
Man, that's right. 2 years ago, I was stuck. I'd been running competitively for 8 years, and I hit this plateau that felt impossible to break through. My times weren't improving, my motivation was tanking, and honestly, I was questioning whether I had what it took to make the Olympic team. My coach suggested something radical. Instead of just training harder, what if I trained smarter by owning my mornings? The idea was that 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. would become my championship hours. No distractions, no social media, no comparison with other athletes online. Here's my routine. 4 a.m. wake up, 10 minutes of gratitude journaling, writing down 3 things I'm grateful for, and visualizing my race goals. Then it's a light breakfast, dynamic warm-up, and my most important training session of the day. By 7 a.m., I've already completed the workout that will make or break my Olympic dreams. The mental shift was huge. Instead of feeling like training was something I had to squeeze into my day, it became the foundation of my day. Everything else built on top of that morning success. And the results speak for themselves. I dropped my marathon time by 4 minutes and qualified for the Olympics 6 months later. But here's the thing people don't realize. It wasn't just about the physical training. Having those 3 focused hours gave me unshakable confidence. When you've already accomplished your most important goal before most people wake up, the rest of the day feels like a bonus.
Wow. That mental shift from squeezing in your priorities to making them the foundation, that's powerful. Priya, your journey is unique because you're in a creative field where there's this myth that artists need chaos and late nights to be productive. How did early mornings change your creative process? Oh, Alex, that myth nearly destroyed my career. I bought into this romantic idea that creativity happens at 2 a.m. with wine and inspiration strikes randomly. The reality, I was inconsistent, constantly stressed about deadlines, and my best ideas were getting lost in the chaos. The 4 a.m. shift happened when I was writing my second novel. My first book had been successful, but I was paralyzed by the pressure to top it. I kept waiting for inspiration, which meant some days I wrote nothing, and then I'd panic and try to make up for it with all-nighters. My 4 a.m. routine is what I call creative surgery: precise, intentional, and protected. I wake up, no checking my phone, make a simple breakfast, and then write from 4:30 to 6:30. 2 hours of pure, undiluted creativity before the world starts demanding my attention. In those early morning hours, my mind is clear. There's no social media comparison happening, no emails about the marketing campaign or book covers. It's just me and the story. I wrote my entire best-selling novel, The Midnight Garden, during those morning sessions. Ironically, a book about nighttime magic written in the early dawn. What shocked me was the quality improved dramatically. When your creative time is limited and protected, you don't waste it. You don't sit there waiting for perfect inspiration. You show up and get to work. I went from someone who wrote when inspired to someone who writes 2,000 words every morning, no matter what. I love that phrase, creative surgery. It's so intentional. Now, let's get practical, because I know our listeners are thinking, this sounds amazing, but how do I actually make this happen? Let's talk about the real challenges. Maya, what was the hardest part about making this transition?
The first 2 weeks were brutal, not gonna lie. Your body is fighting you, your brain is foggy, and you question everything. The key was what I called the gradual shift method. Instead of jumping straight to 4 a.m., I moved my wake-up time 15 minutes earlier each day. But here's what changed everything. I redesigned my entire evening. No screens after 9 p.m., bedroom temperature at 68, and I invested in blackout curtains. Most people try to change their morning without changing their night, and that's why they fail. Also, I had to get ruthless about my why. I wrote down exactly what I wanted to accomplish in those morning hours and put it on my bathroom mirror. When that 4 a.m. alarm goes off, you need a reason stronger than your comfort zone. For me, the breakthrough was realizing that discipline is like a muscle. It gets stronger with use. I started with just 30 minutes earlier, then gradually worked my way to 4 a.m. over a month. The other thing that helped was having everything prepared the night before. Workout clothes laid out, breakfast prepped, training plan ready. When you're half asleep at 4 a.m., you don't want to make decisions. You want to follow a system. And I'll echo what Maya said about the evening routine. I'm in bed by 9:30 p.m. No exceptions. Your morning is only as strong as your night before.
The biggest mind shift for me was understanding that willpower is limited. I used to think successful people just had more willpower, but that's not true. They have better systems. I created what I call morning success triggers, small actions that automatically lead to the next step. Alarm goes off, feet hit the floor immediately, bathroom, drink a full glass of water, make breakfast, sit at dressing desk. No thinking required, just following the sequence. Also, I had to change my social circle. When you tell people you wake up at 4 a.m., some will try to sabotage you. Just this once, stay up late with us. You need people who support your growth, not enable your old patterns. Those systems are crucial. Let's talk about results, because I know listeners want to know, what specific changes did you see in your life beyond just the obvious productivity boost?
The confidence shift was huge. When you start your day by keeping a promise to yourself, it changes how you show up everywhere else. I became more decisive in meetings, more strategic in my thinking, and honestly, more respected by my team and investors. But the unexpected benefit was better relationships. When you're not constantly stressed and reactive, you show up differently for the people you care about. My partner says I'm more present, more patient, and more fun to be around since I started this routine. Beyond the Olympic qualification, the mental resilience I developed has affected every area of my life. When you prove to yourself that you can do hard things consistently, smaller challenges don't faze you anymore.
I also sleep better, have more energy throughout the day, and my focus has improved dramatically. It's like I upgraded my entire operating system, not just my morning routine.
My creative output tripled, but more importantly, the quality improved. I went from someone who struggled with writer's block to someone who has a backlog of ideas. The ripple effect was incredible. Better work led to bigger opportunities, which led to financial freedom, which gave me choices I never had before. All because I decided to protect 2 hours in the morning. These transformations are remarkable. Now, for listeners who are inspired, but maybe intimidated, what would you say to someone who's thinking, I could never do this?
Start small and focus on consistency over perfection. Don't try to wake up at 4 a.m. tomorrow if you usually wake up at 8 a.m.